everybody, and welcome back on challenge number 2. My name is Clary, and I'm gonna be your host for these 2 weeks of wonderful creative challenges in Illustrator. But I can see so many amazing people in the chat. Ciao Steve, nice to see you. Biola, Emma, Stephanie, Megan, Carrie, Chris, Jack Watson, Nadia. I want to say hi to everybody. Becca, nice to see you. I'm just gonna scroll up and see a lot of action in the chat. Also, the wonderful Wade Acuff in the chat helping us out with the amazing link that I'm gonna be sharing with you guys during this amazing creative challenge. Welcome everybody. Today we're gonna have a little play also on the iPad, but don't worry, everything that we do here, it's possible to do on a desktop. And I'm also here always to answer to your questions, so feel free to put them in the chat so I can have a look while I work and get back to you and reply to your questions. I can see also Bruno Silva, Juad. Fantastic. So if you're watching from YouTube, make sure to head on behance.net/live so I can read your comments. Right, so I'm gonna jump real quick into my screen because I want to share, for those of you who are here for the first time, I want to share the main landing page. The landing page for the creative challenge in Illustrator is behance.net/challenge/Illustrator. Here it is. So once you end up on this very useful landing page, you'll be able to click on the big blue button in order to join the challenge. You know the drill. You get an email, you get a reminder that tells you what's the topic of the day. In fact, if you scroll down, you'll be able to discover that today's topic is coasters. We're gonna create a lovely coaster set, and hopefully you can get them printed out, or you can create your own for your coffee cup. And by the way, I'm a bit like full of makeup here, but I also have this one wonderful memory from Adobe Live. I don't know if you can see it, but that's where I got inspired with my coaster idea. So we're gonna create our own. Hopefully you'll be able to create your own as well. Right, the second part of the challenge is, of course, to share your work both on Behance and Discord, but I'm going to get into that towards the end of this wonderful little challenge that we got here. And also be able to share with you the schedule, because there is more fun coming up. But let's jump into Illustrator. That's the beauty of the challenges. As I say all the time, those are fantastic way to get started with your work. And by the way, speaking about get started, I might have forgot one thing. There is a starter file for you to use in order to jump right into the work and follow along if you wish, or also to download later on, so you can just pick up the work. So again, all you have to do is head back to the wonderful landing page, and if you click on Get Started, you'll be able to access challenge number 2 starter file, which is again coaster design starter file. And if you click it and copy to your work, it will be copied into your Cloud's document. And for this in particular challenge, that's super useful because we're pretty much going to jump into one file to the other thanks to Creative Cloud documents using iPad and desktop. Right, so hopefully you get the chance to copy it to your work or download the file. I already done both. As you can see, we have a little cloud here on top of my document, and that tells me that the document is saved in my cloud. Ashraf will say, I'm looking vibrant today. Thank you. I'm happy. I'm really happy to be here with you. Maybe it's the red, the power of the red. I might say orange is the happiest color. Clary, make me happy. Wonderful. Because I mean, I'm just going to show you something real quick. So you already got a little catch up. So this is what we're going to be building today. And in fact, it's orange. Right. So let me show you how to get there though. I just created a little teaser so you see what we're going to be creating. And once you open this file, you'll notice right away that we already created a structure for you. This red line is the bleed, which is very useful when creating a document for print. Then we have a black line, which is the trim line. So when you're going to export your file and give it to your printer, to have a printer, they know they will have to trim around the circle in order to create a circle coaster. A circular coaster. Jennifer Poole in the house. Hi Jennifer, it's been a long time. Very, very happy to see you. Also my mom, ciao Julie, following from Italy. And yeah, let me know where you're watching from. As usual, I'm here in Manchester, UK, and here is just about 7:35 p.m. But as I was saying, let me describe what I've placed in this file. So we have this outline, which is the trim line, but again, where the printer is gonna go ahead and trim your printing files. So in this case, will be a circular coaster, and in this other case, if you wanna, I just give you the option to create a square one. Also, you can, those are 3.9 inches for the outside main design. And then we have the inside margin. This is a safe area. So as you can see, I showed you from the little sneaky preview, we're going to be creating all the most important information needs to be contained within the magenta line. It's pretty much like a margin. And by the way, those are just simply circles that are created using the ellipse tool. And I just place it there for guidance, so you guys can have a template ready to be used whenever you want. We got Sweden, Argentina, Portland, also Seth in the house. Go and check out Seth McCulloch. Is a dear friend of mine, and he does some amazing tutorial on YouTube, and he does some amazing Photoshop art and editing. So go and check him out. Hi Seth, thank you so much for being here. Emma is from Bulgaria. Jawad is also in the UK, in West Midland. Fantastic. Love to see the world meeting up here at Adobe Live. And going back to our file, as you can see, I also create different layers in order to control those elements and hide them when we don't need them anymore. Because again, as I say, those are just for guidance. Right, when you, if you don't see the layers, for whatever reason, your workspace looks different than mine, anytime that I mention a panel, you can head under the window menu, so choose window from the top, and then pick any single panel that you wish. In this case, the panel that I mentioned was the layers one, so just click on layers, and you'll be able to see the layers panel there. Also, let's have a look on the layers panel a little bit more in detail. As you can see, we have two columns here. The first one is for the visibility. So that's how you toggle visibility of the content of the layer. So a layer is basically a container. And the second one is a little lock, which allows you to lock whatever is inside the container. As you can see, I locked here the outline. So when I click and drag, it doesn't allow me to select it anymore, which is super useful when you have guides on just some reference. Maybe you create your pencil work and you just want to stuck in there. You don't want to like keep moving it around. So Illustrator, thanks to the layers, allows you to keep everything very neatly organized. Something very important also to know about the layers is that their order matters. So look what happens here. If I bring the design below the outline, that means that it gets hidden because whatever is on top has priority in terms of view. So you want to make sure that your graphics are always above any other maybe outline or any other note that you have there, to make sure that you hide them. And I think that's pretty much the majority of the information. Of course, I have this work in progress layer. You don't have it, you just have your graphics, and that's what we're gonna work. Before we work, make sure to lock your layers. And now I'm just gonna jump into Illustrator to show you how to start to create some shapes and start to get a little bit familiar with the Illustrator on the iPad. And then we're gonna come back here in order to refine our work. I can see if there is any question. I can see Geothermia, Audra, the Discord gang in the chat. Fantastic. We're going to jump into Discord at the end of these projects just to show you the way that it works. I'm just going to go into this transition here, jumping on the iPad. Let's see if I can make it happen. It's my first time here. Woo, looks like I did it, although I'm floating here. I just noting that I'm literally floating in the screen. Let's see if I'll be able to quickly fix that. All right, I'm not flying anymore, although it was fun. And here we are. We are actually looking at my iPad. And as you can see, because we were working, the pencil was a little stuck. We were already working on the designer file, on the document. All you have to do once you open your Illustrator app is head on your work folder where you have all your work that you're working on. And I have my coaster design there. And here it is. All I have to do is to just literally tap once on the document and it will open it eventually. Here it is. So we're back to the design that we had before. As you can see, even here on the iPad, I have my layers, which are exactly mirroring what I had on the desktop. Everything looks pretty much the same. You can see here a little blue icon that moves around, and that's me just tapping the iPad. So far so good. Right, so Estonia, Joseph for Estonia for metric system region. Hi, Joseph. You can do 8 centimeters or 5 centimeters if you're in metric. I'm in metric as well, but I thought that it was useful for once just to use inches as well. But again, you know, feel free to use centimeter. Right, so let's start another play. Make sure to select the right layer, and as you can see here on the iPad, you can also lock layers like we've seen before, and also trigger the visibility of the layer like we did before. So make sure that you click on the light layer, and you can see that the layer that you select has a little blue outline, and that tells you that you're actually working on that layer. Then I'm gonna go ahead from my toolbar, click on the little square tool, and then click and hold in order to reveal the other hidden tools. And I'm gonna go ahead and select the round tool, which is pretty much like the ellipse. And then all I have to do is to click and drag in order to create a circle, an ellipse. And look what happens here. Illustrator tells me that I'm creating a perfect circle when I have this little diagonal sticking in there. That tells me that, you know, that's exactly a perfect circle. Otherwise, you can use this lovely double touch point here in order to constrain proportion, and also in order to scale your circle proportionally. So if you hold it there, you'll be able to scale it in proportion. And if you actually hold on this secondary touch and bring it a little bit forward until it's completely filled, not only you scale it proportionally, but you also scale it from the center, just like so. And it looks like I need to make it just a little bit bigger over here. I'm usually working on a stand, so I'm actually working flat, so I need to get used to this positioning. Then if we want to select a color, very simple. You got this little swatch here, and I can see that my iPad is slightly hidden. See if I can move it a tad to the right so we can see a little bit better. That tool is fantastic. So all I did is with my circle selected, and as you can see on the very top of the toolbar on the left here, we have the selection tool. Here it is. I can select my circle and then go ahead and click once on the white, which is the fill little swatches. We can just use this color wheel to select the color that we want to use. And in this case, I wanted to use like an orange color. And then make sure that from here you are also selecting the luminosity. In the case was all set to white. You want to bring it to a full saturation of orange so you can see your color. So here you got the hue, and then you got the brightness here, and then also you got the saturation. So you can do many different things. So left to right, it shows the saturation. Left to right shows the saturation, just like so, and up and down the brightness. And the color wheel, of course, the different hue, so the different colors. Fantastic. Now click back into your canvas to deselect the menu, and I'm gonna go into my layers and just hide those measurements because they're just bothering me a little. We don't really need them, so just click on the eye in order to move them away. Perfect. So we created one circle. Then I'm going to click on this little icon here on this bottom menu, which is super useful because allow us to use further tools into our, oops, see what happened here. Sorry, 1 second, guys. It looks like something is recording my iPad for some reason. Let's try to move it away. Here it is. Moved it away. I was going to say we have, whenever we select a tool or we select an element, a graphic, we have this menu underneath that allows us to access more quick actions and to apply them right away into your shape. So what I'm going to do here, anyone tell which tool she is using? I'm using the circle tool, which is here on the left and is nested under the square. So you probably see a little square, click and hold until you can go into the round. And then to select, I'm using the selection tool, which is the top at the arrow at the very top. But now I'm going to click on this little square with the plus that allows us to quickly duplicate our layers. So if we go into graphic, we see now that we have 2 ellipses, and I'll show you in a second why I needed 2 ellipses. I'm going to go ahead now and select the type tool, then click and drag to create a type area, and I'm going to put over here so you can actually see in contrast what I'm doing. or actually let me leave it there and change the color of the type. So in order to change the color, all I have to do here is to go ahead and click on the fill color and change it to white. Boom, here it is, nice and easy. Since we're here, you can see that also when we select the type, we have the properties panel on the right that opens up. And from here, just like in the normal Illustrator, we can select our character. For this one, I select abolition. And then I just go back with my type tool. And if you have a keyboard, you can type it on the keyboard, or the iPad just brings up a keyboard just right there. And I'm gonna type in good morning, since we already say that all our streams here are gonna be about breakfast. Fantastic. Actually, I'm gonna do good morning sunshine, since we're all nice and bright today. Fantastic. So I'm done here with my text. And what I wanna do is to make sure that the text fits around that circle. Well, that's super, super easy. All I have to do is to go back and select my selection tool, then click on the text. And using our secondary shortcut, all I have to do is to literally drag. Look what I'm doing here, like dragging the text inside our circle, just like so. And we're done. We already inserted the text in the path. But I'm gonna click on this back arrow in order to save my document and jump back into my screen to finish it off into the desktop. See how quickly it is? We've done some work and now we're gonna finish it off. And don't worry, we're gonna jump into the iPad more during this stream. That was just a little taste of how the iPad looks like. Fantastic. So I'm gonna go back into my home screen here. Here it is. And as you can see under Cloud Documents, I can see that my document is already updated right here. It's just behind me. So all I have to do is to click once in order to open it up. And you should open the document. Ooh, let me close this one and go back. Here it is. So that's exactly where we left it on the iPad, ready to be picked up from screen. It just took like a second. And yes, I agree. It's super, super easy on the iPad. And now what I did here, you can go back and watch our introductory stream, because all I did in order to create our little coffee cups is to use some circles. So I literally used the ellipse tool a few times, which is the same tool that we were using on the iPad. And then I create a few circles. Let's see if I can do that very fast. Oops. In order to show you how to create the coffee cup real quick. So I just created here a nice little circle for a cup, and then putting the other lips on top. I'm just going to give it another color and bring it on the top using the shortcut Shift, Command, and the curly bracket. And then I'm just going to keep it very simple and create another little circle that will work as a coffee cup handle, just like so. Then click and drag to select all your shapes. And let's go back to the Shape Builder tool, which is right here on the left. And that will help us to create some shape. Hold the Option key on a Mac, Alt on Windows in order to erase a shape, and click and drag without holding Alt in order to merge them. And then you can select the shape that you want. And for example, I'm gonna make these like dark like coffee. And if you want, you can even make your cup maybe blue. Fantastic. Then click and drag to select them both and press Command G to group them. And then hold the Shift key and drag down in order to change their size proportionally. And then we can move it around and hold Option and drag in order to create a copy. Just like so. All we have to do now is to bring all this graphic under the safe area, because I want to make sure that everything is actually within the safe area. So all I did here is literally click and drag your layer below. And it looks like our little cups are outside the safe area, and so our text. So all we have to do is hold Shift and Option in order to resize it just like so. And I'm gonna now hide our safe area, and we can use our lovely tools. Everything is orange, so I cannot really see the tools here in order to move the text. So let's see, I'm gonna press Command Z to undo, because it was looking like everything was orange. Looks like I cannot undo it anymore, but you know, you see the drill. So can you see these little little handles here on the side. Those are very useful in order to move the path in and out. And because I made everything orange, they're not very visible. So try to make sure that you can change the color. And actually, you can change the color of the layer here simply by double clicking on the layer. And by changing the color, we can also see a different color for our guides. So for example, we can pick green, just like so, and click on OK. So you can see that now those are visible inside our orange. But it's almost time to go. So I just wanted to show you something else real quick. I'm just gonna move these around and I'm gonna give you more time for you to finish it off. That's the reason why I've created a final version, because time always goes too fast. I wanted to show you how to share your work. So in order to export your work, first of all you have to do is to use the shortcut option Command E, and you have an export for screen window coming up. Then I'm just going to select the first one. You can change the prefix, which will be the first name on your file. I'm going to call it round coaster, and then select your destination folder. In this case, it will be the desktop, and I'm going to make sure that I open the location after the export, so I'll be able to see my artboard right away. You can choose between JPEG or PNG. I'm going to choose PNG so we can keep the transparency, and then click on Export Artboard in order to export your work. And here it is. That's our round coaster. And all I have to do now is to head on Discord. And here's the shortcut for everybody who's not been in Discord. Make sure to join our wonderful community. So it's bit.ly/AI Discord in order to join the wonderful Discord. And here it is. Should have it open on my browser. And from here, all you have to do is head under the feedback channel, which is up here, and select challenge. From here, you'll be able to click on this little plus icon and then browse your destination folder. In this case is my desktop, where I can go ahead and find my round coasters and click on open in order to load it into Discord. And I'm gonna write here the number of the challenge, challenge 2, oops, not 12, and click on upload. And boom, here it is, ready to go in Discord. You're also super welcome to export your work on Behance. And for Behance, remember, all you have to do is to create an artboard that is 1400 pixels wide. And if you want to bring up your artboard, as you can see, you can find it under your here under your toolbar. Sorry, I just see the time running up so fast. And what you want to make sure to do is, of course, not to place it like I did on top of the other artboard, but don't worry, I'm just gonna go ahead, copy an old option in order to copy the work, and I'm also gonna scale it. The text is giving me a little bit of problem, so what I advise you to do if you want to scale it without having further issue is to select the text and go under type and create outlines. So the text will be easily transformed into a shape and it will stay in place. So all you have to do again is to move your file and then save your artboard there and export it with the same shortcut, which was option Command E. Now I'm going to jump real quick into Behance because we already started with our breakfast time. And what I want to remind you, in order to create your project, click on this create a project. But also what is very important is that you can always go back once you create your project and click on edit project. And you want to make sure that under settings, you use the project tag AI Creative Challenge. As you can see, I have the daily challenge here, but that's an old one. We're not going to use that anymore. So make sure to stick to AI Creative Challenge in order to be featured and be perhaps selected in the wonderful galleries. So in order to check out the galleries and get inspired, is galleries challenges /Illustrator. About like few seconds before I get cut off. I hope I gave you all the informations, but don't worry, I will see you tomorrow here on the Illustrator Creative Challenge, and you can drop any questions you might have on Discord, and I'll catch you there. And also I'll see you tomorrow for challenge number 3. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.